welcome to That's Just Ridiculous, which is a half-hour podcast weekly with Paul Fryer and me, Guy Kennaway. This is our first ever podcast episode. We did 2 trial ones in which we tried to work out what we were going to talk about, because everyone said we had to go into a niche, and we listened to some other. I listened to some other ones. Actually, Paul didn't really listen to them. And people tend to get into a niche. So the niche that we're choosing is anything we want to talk about. We're confining ourselves to anything that we want to talk about. And we're in my house in Somerset in the village of Pilton. And let's kick off then. What should we start? Can we start with gay conversion therapy? Do you mind talking about that? Because it's been a little bit in the news. And
I hadn't heard it was in the news.
Haven't you?
No. I've had plenty of gays try and convert me, but that was my job for a bit.
To me, it seems like a totally acceptable activity.
What?
2 consenting adults, both pretending, one pretending that they don't want to be gay, both pretending they don't want to be gay, both fairly likely gay. And it's like a very nice, beautiful opportunity about repressed sexuality and kind of weird fucked upness. And they should be allowed to get into a room and just, and have a stupid charade.
Are you talking about us, guys? Talking about me and you?
Yeah, well, actually, it's terrible you should say that, Paul, because remember the episode we did on the MDMA? That was what we did a recording.
Well, it wasn't actually MDMA.
You never heard. No, it wasn't. It was
MDMA.
sassafras.
Sassafras.
And that was a bit like gay conversion therapy.
Was it?
I was shocked, actually. I didn't really remember it.
What about how gay we both were?
It was, and how repressed, and how the drugs. It was just. I had to look away when I was listening.
Did you?
Yeah, I never sent the tape. I never sent the tape to you. No, it was pretty tough. But anyway,
did you destroy the tape?
No, I've got it. Of course, I've got it. Of course,
maybe we'll release that.
Yeah.
Excerpts. Or
exactly. Unplugged. But no, the government they're going to make the activity of gay conversion therapy illegal, so that people are not allowed to have a course where they can basically, talk you out of being gay. And to me, that's going to stop a lot of fun for a lot of people, and the government have no right to get involved in those kind of basically obvious sexual games going on.
It's funny.
Obviously, they shouldn't be forced to go on it. I don't think anyone should be forced to go on them. But if there's consenting adults,
right,
for goodness sake.
But usually, though, it's something to do with the church, isn't it, or a church?
No, well, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, fairly obviously, I would have thought.
Yeah, it's usually a religious thing, and it's like people don't want to be gay, so they have to. They usually what they do. It's like the end of Clockwork Orange, where they put Alex Delage in the chair and then show him pictures of sexually arousing items, and then they electrocute him, and they have his eyes pinned open with those.
Those funny kind of reverse scissors.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I do remember that.
And I think that's what it's like, so I don't know if that's very...
It's unlikely to work, isn't it? In fact, it's quite likely to have the exact opposite effect.
I don't know, guys.
Sitting around talking to someone going, you're not gay, don't worry. Obviously, I don't think that's going to happen.
But what they do is I've heard what they do is they have pictures of men.
Penises, and then they electrocute you.
No, yeah.
That's meant to put you off.
There's a bar above your knob, basically.
What, and that's meant to put you off reaching for the bar?
No, the bar has 10,000 volts going through it.
Yes, obviously.
Like an insecticide.
That's an incentive.
No, it's not. No. No, what happened? And it's Pavlovian, isn't it? So they can condition you to do anything because, for instance, they conditioned Sirhan to shoot Bobby Kennedy.
Did they?
Yeah.
How do you mean?
Well, the CIA conditioned him to shoot Bobby Kennedy.
What they asked him to, or they convinced him to? We call that persuaded.
No, they used techniques.
Oh, yeah, what kind? Not with the penis and the 10,000.
No, it wasn't like that. It was more like Derren Brown did it with Stephen Fry. He didn't condition Stephen Fry, but he got like 200 guys in a room. They were men mostly. And what they did was he found out by a winnowing process who was the most psychologically suggestible, and then he got it down to 2 of them, and one of them he said, look at this tank full of cold water, and it had all ice in it, And one of the guys put his hand in it, and they both put their hands in it and said, well, I couldn't get in there. And then he hypnotised them, did that sleep thing. And then they both got in the tank, and one of them sat down in there. And he said, how does it feel? He said, well, I can't feel it now. I don't know why. And it went on from there, and then they gradually conditioned. They took him on a shooting range, and they had key words that they said, and he showed him some polka dot material, and somebody handed him a gun, and he said, now you're in marksman mode, and you're the best marksman in the world. Bam, bam, bam. And he said, and then they took him to the theatre where Stephen Fry was playing, and Stephen Fry got on stage, and a girl with a polka dot dress sat in front of him, and someone said this key word, and he put his hand in the middle of his forehead like that, and that meant he did it, not the person in other words, the shooter did this weird thing where he put his hand in the middle of his forehead, and then he took the gun from the case that was open in front of him and unloaded into Stephen Fry, if you'll pardon the expression. And Stephen Fry had blood capsules and everything and died on stage. So as far as the guy was concerned, he just shot Stephen Fry. Everybody else in the room was in on it. But he thought he must have shot Stephen Fry. Because there was no one had told him.
Yeah.
And they said afterwards, what did you think? And he said, well, I don't really know what happened.
Yeah.
So I just remember being at the shooting range.
Yeah,
That's exactly what Sir Hans said.
Yeah. Obviously, I think that's total bollocks. Because
I was wondering when that was
coming. It's absolutely ridiculous. Because what happens is that you start off thinking that you're in some little hypnotism show, and you want to, and like most people, not me, but most people, when they see a camera or microphone, they become compliant, and they want to do what the director says, and they want to help the show, and there's a large audience, and everyone's willing each other on, and you find that you're quite good at it, that you can get into the bath, whatever, and although you say, is it cold, you can say, oh no, it's not cold, because it's such a great answer. I'm feeling fine. What kind of answer is, no, it's really cold. Suddenly Darren Brown looks like an ass. All the cameras go down, the producer shouts, cut, and they go, hold on, get that guy out the bath. Whereas if he goes, oh no, I can't feel it. Suddenly, the man's a bit of a star.
I get in the bath.
Then they go,
right,
take you down
to the chat room.
Then they go, you're going to a shooting range. You go, all right, let's go to the shooting range. You think, this is a contact. I mean, the incentive to go along with it is so massive, Paul.
And it's got a bit of a dick. The guy looks a bit of a dick. So how do you explain that? You would want to look a dick on national TV.
He didn't.
Yeah, I'm the dick that's programmable to go and shoot somebody. I can,
I'm not saying he's doing it out of vanity. He's doing it more out of fear of letting people down and of wanting to go along with a large production. And that's how a lot of film directors work. They get people into situations and they say, darling, just take the top off or whatever, whatever it is.
But that's why people want the sex reversion therapy that you're talking about. It's exactly the same reason. Because they want to go along with things and they want to please everybody.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you think that Robert Kennedy was killed because someone was
CIA, MK Ultra.
You really think the CIA were up to an operation as complex as that? They seem to me...
You haven't read that book yet that I sent you, even though I read that insanely boring book that you sent me, which was a complete exercise in...
But you've not sent me a book.
No, well...
What's it called?
Maybe I forgot. It's called The Devil's Chessboard, Alan Dulles and the CIA.
No, you haven't sent that to me.
It's genius. You have to read it.
You haven't sent that to me.
It will change.
Yeah, but you see, you're someone who believes that the CIA is a sort of well-run and organised and sort of precision operation, which hardly ever fucks up, nothing goes wrong. Whereas I see it as a ramshackle, redneck kind of drunken, stupid vanity project that just goes from one cataclysmic disaster to another, with showing absolutely no understanding of politics. What's that?
CIA badge.
A CIA.
As issued to field operatives. It's cool, isn't it?
Well, how come you got that?
Can't tell you that, it's classified.
Why did you just peel the top off it?
Because I don't know what to stick it on. What do you stick? You can only stick it on one thing, and there's nowhere for it to go in my wallet.
Oh, it's on the back. If you were clever, you wouldn't go in the CIA. That's like the first sign of stupidity. Come on, Paul.
So you say MI6 are all stupid as well? And MI5, they're all stupid.
In a way, yeah.
And all the people that work at GCHQ.
In a way. Certainly, the ones I've met, I tell you what I know about GCHQ because I was brought up in Gloucestershire, and some of my friends now live around Cheltenham in that area, and they have neighbours, for instance, who work at GCHQ.
They really made a point of hiring thickos then, did they?
No. But you look at their lives and you go, "That's a stupid thing to do with your life."
Well, of course you.
Because one of the things is you can't talk about what you do, even to your wife at GCHQ. I know one person whose parents were at GCHQ, and they couldn't talk with each other about what they were doing because they were on different grades and all that.
Isn't that interesting?
No, that is a stupid decision to make about life.
Isn't that interesting?
That is a stupid. You cannot tell me that's clever.
Because that's one of the things that you always say to me makes conspiracy impossible, is that people would talk, and then you sit there and say these people refuse to talk about anything, even to their own wives. So I got you there, didn't I? Yes. Also, perhaps this is the moment we ought to say that if you want to ask us a question, and it can be any question about anything, or if you want us to give us a topic of conversation. Questions are good, though, because we've got all the answers here. Can we not, Guy?
Definitely. Or at least just try us.
I mean, seriously, on any subject, you name it, not only will we answer it, you will be amazed at how insightful we are. And anyway, the email address is soniclandfill, so it's soniclandfill @gmail.com. soniclandfill@gmail.com. And at this moment, I think it's time for our first question from the mailbag, as they like to call it in Radioland. This one's... I can't do this. Stop this.
Stop getting your smashing nice. Yes, you went a bit American actually.
I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. It's fine. It's very
fine.
Much,
Look, you know,
I like its youthful exuberance. Who's it from?
It's from Vashko in Armley, in Leeds.
Okay.
And he writes...
Do we have to... Okay.
Dear Guy and Paul...
Haven't we got anyone better?
We've got one more, but it's...
Oh, okay, we'll have one from Leeds.
Obviously...
Well, just obviously...
the other one's just...
No, don't worry, let's go from Leeds. Go from Leeds, let's lower the tone of the programme.
Okay, so it says, Dear Guy and Paul, my girlfriend is really scared of spiders. I have a pathological fear of dying alone. Is there anything that you find scary? That's from Vashko.
Right. Yeah, well, you're... I don't think there's anything that I don't find scary.
You don't find scary?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just scared from the moment I get up to the moment, long after I go to bed, because I'm scared. I'm definitely serious. And my entire personality is just a smokescreen to try and convince myself and others that I'm not terrified. And my complete life is just a drama played out with one plot, which is this is fucking terrifying.
I had no idea.
How am I going to get through this and not fuck up, not fall off the edge, not disgrace myself, and not disappoint people, and not disappoint myself? At every moment, all of that lot is going through my head, and at every moment, something terrible could happen. Or has happened actually, but I've not been told about it.
Right, or you were just looking at you.
I'm serious when I said that. I'm not. That's not playing to the gallery. That's pretty serious.
That's really true.
Yeah, and I've even got to the stage where it got so bad. It's not so bad now that I sexualized fear hugely. So when I got really frightened, it started feeling sexy, and a lot of people with with sex addiction problems, as I have. Sexualize odd emotions. Pain was very common. Joy is more. Sexualizing joy, happiness is considered quite functional, quite reasonable. A couple are happy together and they're feeling sexy, but actually, it's just sexualization of an emotion. There's no real reason
so what are you saying?
why it should be attached.
You can't sexualize anything.
Well. You can sexualize. Well, no, I don't know, but certainly it's. I noticed that I'm not alone in feeling quite horny in dangerous situations.
But hello, everyone's like that, aren't they?
No way. I've not met any women. I've not met any women.
It's really
I've not met a single woman.
People...
Women that I have met, and I've not met very many, and I don't know very many, so I can't talk generally. Obviously, are sexualized by safety, by kindness, by security. By wholeness, by those kind of things. Over to you. I'm too scared to go on.
About fear, you mean?
Yeah.
No, yeah.
What about Vasco? What's he saying? What did he say? What frightens you? What about his sister who's scared of spiders? She's not scared of spiders. She's scared of loads.
My girlfriend is really scared of spiders. I have a pathological fear of dying alone. That's what he said.
But I've never seen dying as anything but a release, a merciful release.
Oh, me too, actually.
And I've killed myself very often, and I tell you who I kill myself to, that's the parking authorities and the speeding authorities. I've often sent letters posing from the executors of my will, saying that I died subsequent to getting the speeding offence or the parking offence.
Have you actually sent those
Yeah,
letters?
yeah, and I've got off every single one. Every single one. Now, I don't do it with speeding to the British police because I know that they can find out I'm alive.
That's a criminal offence.
But but I don't know about that. I do it, and I'm often in France, and I write a kind of Molesworthian French letter to them saying that Mr. Kenway died. And the last one I said, Mr. Kenway died 23 minutes after receiving the speeding ticket. You know how right you were. He should have paid attention to the
speed limit.
Speed limit.
But
exactly.
you said that you actually wiped out in the car.
Yeah, no, I said that I went through their signs saying, ralenti, slow down. And then I said that there's no money left in his estate to pay for the fine, unfortunately. But there's possibly, the state is owed some royalties. And if they could instruct the French gendarmerie of the region of Tarn to buy his book and to leave positive comments on Amazon, they might raise enough money to pay the fine. And I said, also, would you sell us cheap the sign that he ran into, the bent one, saying slow down in French, because we're trying to raise the money to buy a gravestone, and we thought we might use it instead of, going running to...
You didn't say
this. All of this, and off it goes, and you don't hear anything back, and I think some Frenchman somewhere goes, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
So, but the point I was making is that I see death as like a lovely release. Easeful, like slipping into some dark sea into a velvet cloak, not as a horrible, frightening, wrenching from life, but a beautiful.
But what about the moment, the actual moment?
Let me go, baby.
No, because I was in bed one night. I didn't think I was scared of death at all, and then I was in bed one night, and I was like. I woke up in the middle of the night and I could hear sometimes my heart beats really hard. It's a bit weird. I'm being investigated at the minute for it. They don't know if
Don't investigate your heart. You give yourself.
I'm having my blood pressure taken every day.
Don't.
Well, I've got to go.
You haven't.
Me or.
All right. Okay.
So anyway, so they've got some nights it's like. And one night, this is honestly the truth. I woke up and I sat up in bed and I was listening to my heart. And I thought, oh God, it's so bloody hammering. I just wish it'd let me go to sleep. And I was irritated. I wasn't frightened or upset. I was just like, for fuck's sake, calm down. I need to go to sleep, And then, as I was listening, it just stopped.
No, you just couldn't hear it.
And then it started again. For about that long. And just in that gap, I was thinking, fuck. It was just long enough to think. My heart stopped beating. I wonder how long it is now until everything goes away. And at that moment, I realised for the first time in my life that is quite a scary moment. That actual moment, not the bit leading up to it, certainly not the bit after, but the actual moment itself. Unless you do something to blur it.
Well, it's normally illness that blurs it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're just sitting absolutely fine in bed and you keel over, then that is a bit of a surprise.
Yes.
But I definitely think that a lot of problems would be solved by my death.
Yes, the problem of living for a start.
Indeed, exactly.
Because living is really quite tough.
And it hurts to think that people would mourn me. I have been writing, Paul, my own elegy at the moment to be read at my funeral. Where I talk from beyond the grave.
Why didn't you record it? We could record it.
Yeah, you're right. I should record. We could have freak everyone out.
We could have passages of music and everything. Do you know, like when William G. Robinson goes home in Soylent Green, a movie which I'm a bit obsessed with.
You are.
Soylent Green.
Have you seen anyone?
It's people. It's people. But there's this bit where Edward G. Robinson is doddering old geezer he shares the place with. Says, I've decided I'm going to go home. And he goes, no, don't do that. And he comes back from work and he's left a note saying, gone home.
And he goes to this place and they play him The Rite of Spring. And he sees pictures of deer running around and everything, and then they put him on this big chair and whack him up with some lethal dose of muck. And of course, Charlton Heston arrives just too late to save him. And I'm not sure. I think he goes running after his body, but it's too late. It's gone down the conveyor belt and is being made into Soylent Green. And that's when he finds out what Soylent Green is. It's people. It's people. Anyway, it's really worth seeing, folks. If you've not seen it, Soylent Green. That's Soylent. Don't ask me what it means. Nobody knows.
What do you mean don't ask? You've just said that you can be asked anything and you know everything.
I don't know what Soylent is.
Okay, well, don't ask that question. That's
Well, I've already answered
That's the only question you're not allowed to ask.
All right,
What
I
is
can make
Soylent?
a guess. I can obviously make a guess, but it's the name of a corporation, so you don't really think about it. It's not relevant.
Okay, well,
Anyway, so
don't ask us that question.
thinking about it, I don't think it's a worry. As you say, life is hard, and that's what that movie's about. In a way, it's about the fact that everyone's going through this daily struggle just to survive. I wonder if some people are exempt. Do you think some people are exempt from the travails of life?
I think probably some idiots are. But if you've got 3 brain cells, you're in trouble.
Well, that's what I always used to say. If you want, everyone used to go, well, "Are you happy?" I used to get old friends, or especially old girlfriends, on the phone and say, "Yes, but are you happy? Because you were always so unhappy."
What, they said that to you?
I've had it more than once, a lot of times. They say, "Well, are you happy where you are now?" And I just used to say, "Yeah," because I would think, actually, happy? What the fuck does it mean? The happiest people.
Well, we know what it means, but it's pretty irrelevant.
The happiest people on this planet have got Down syndrome.
Well, that's kind of what I think, but I'm not sure that's true. But
It's true.
We know the point we're making. But
Is that too bad that I said that?
Well, no, I don't think so. But I don't know. To be honest, I don't know anyone with Down syndrome.
They're very happy.
I don't want to.
I used to work with people
Right.
with Down syndrome voluntarily, and they were very, very happy, much happier than we were.
Yeah. Certainly, a lot of thinking does tend to cause a bit of anxiety and a few problems.
But that got me thinking, maybe
But that's
that is
okay,
the
because
next
happiness is absolutely a totally futile and stupid objective. It's like saying, I only want to see the colour blue in my life.
life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Well, that's an extraordinary... I don't think they understood that phrase when they wrote it, because for a start, the word pursuit is a really ill-advised word. That it's the most un-Zen way of getting happy. You couldn't think. It says so much about the American, exactly the American character, where you have to pursue happiness rather than just be happy. So that it's a very ill-advised phrase, that. And also, it's not about being happy. It's about being all of them, isn't it? All of them, all of your emotions, keeping them all buzzing along together,
all
like a little crazy little happy little family. Or happy, a crazy little happening, busy little family.
And all underpinned by fear.
No, fear's just one of them. But with me, it's got too big in the family. He's like, he's like the boss.
Bully.
And I don't really, I can feel passion, but shame. Well, when I was at the Meadows, you had to do this thing called a feelings check. I don't know if did we discuss it in an early one.
What's the Meadows?
The Meadows is a rehab facilitation. It's a psychological, it's a grade 1 psychological institution in the United States. It's where people can go who have got criminal records. I don't think, what is it? It's not
what
grade
did you
1.
do, Guy?
I was just a complete idiot. I had not done anything criminal. But one of the things they did was every 8 hours you had to go to the nurse's station, which is like the reception, and you had a feelings check, and they'd get out a clipboard with your name on it, and you had to say, no, listen to this, and they said there are 8. I haven't got pen and paper here. Shame, guilt, pain, joy, passion, anger.
Indifference?
No.
Absolutely
not. You were not allowed indifference.
All right then.
There was that's 6. There was maybe one more. No, you weren't allowed that. Hunger, you weren't allowed either. Right. I go, that's a feeling. I'm feeling hungry. Anyway, but there was no arguing with
nausea.
And you would arrive there, and they'd go, "Hello, Guy. What are your feelings now?" And you would have to go, "I feel pain," or "I feel anger." And you'll just say these things and then tick the little box and then off you go. And 8 hours later you have to go back. And everyone in the whole facility, it's a grade 1 facility, psychological facility, everyone was doing this, having their feelings checked all the time, and they're all being put on some tabulated. And you weren't allowed to say, I'm fine. You weren't allowed to say, I don't feel anything. They'd make you stand there until you looked inside this crazy, in my case, a knotted ball of confusion, and try and pull one strand out and look at it and go, it's fear. I feel frightened. I feel ashamed. And after about 3 or 4 weeks,
nausea or horny or
well, I think
tired, because that's what I normally feel.
Yeah, I don't know quite how they'd argue that, but there was no messing around. They said, no, you've got to feel one of these. I guess if you're feeling tired, look a bit deeper. Look a bit deeper. Are you feeling sad? Maybe you're feeling sad. But if you're not feeling sad, you had to feel one of their emotions. I mean, for Christ's sake, it was a program. Get with the program. And a lot of people did fight it and would dispute their list of emotions, but I didn't. I thought, I'm with the program, let's go with it. And it was really a good thing for me to just sit and go, oh, actually I've got these emotions, and I've never said to anyone, a total stranger, I feel frightened. And you never had to say why. They weren't interested in why. They say, you don't say why, you just say what you're feeling. And it was called a feelings check. Feelings check. And they used to go, Guy, have you had your feelings check? And you'd go and have your feelings check. And after a bit I really liked it. And I came back and I introduced it to my family. And my kids were absolutely appalled.
Really
and they thought
weird.
I was completely bonkers.
It's like Sesame Street or something.
It's so useful. It's the best thing.
How is
That's
it
what should happen at school, at university. There should be feelings checks for these kids, where they can say, I feel angry, without doing anything, without having to come up with a reason why. I feel sad. Anyway, I feel frightened. That's all that woman who's frightened of spiders is saying. But I can't find a way of saying it, except it's okay to say I'm frightened of spiders. It's just a code for
No,
I'm
that's
frightened.
not right. That's completely incorrect. Spiders have their own phylum. They are not related to any other creature on this planet. They have their own little section. They are arachnids, and evolutionary speaking, they don't really belong here. And they probably came here from another planet inside a meteorite.
God.
And that's why people have a real aversion to them.
I don't.
I do, I love them.
So when you say people, when you're talking
Certain
about
people.
everyone but us?
Some people. They're arachnophobes. And I don't know, maybe it's some kind of race memory, because maybe they had, like... Did you ever see that episode of Doctor Who where they got in touch with those spiders from another world? And they were like a giant spider.
I'm not answering that question.
Appeared in the middle of the room. It's a serious question. It was called the
You cannot use Doctor Who as
Planet of the Spiders.
as evidence on the level of debate that we're trying to sustain.
It's not about that.
It's not evidence.
It was called the Planet of the Spiders. The Doctor was Tom Baker, and a giant spider materialised in the room, and they were real, and they were from another dimension. And nobody knew at the time that they were real or from another dimension.
No, they're on a fucking TV show. They're stupid graphics. They're not real or from another dimension.
Yeah, but actual spiders probably are. That's the reality of it.
Oh fuck! I can't deal with this.
No, I'm serious.
No. What? And what's another dimension?
Why do you think David Bowie called his band the Spiders?
This is why it's called landfill. It's all sonic landfill because it's total shite.
No, it's not. Guy, listen to me.
They're from another planet.
No, well, where do you think life came from in the first place? It didn't come from here. What you think?
Leads.
Some amino acids got together in a pond. Is that what you think?
Like all the other greatest thinkers of the world. Yes.
No, that's not true. What happened was there were some chemicals. There were some chemicals on the surface of this planet, and then meteorites came down and dust from frozen stuff from space, which had the elements of life inside it, and then lightning strikes hit the Earth, which changed their nature, and that's probably where life came from. So the very essence of life itself is extraterrestrial in nature.
Oh God, you got to meet Dave.
It's true. Just fucking look into it if you don't believe me. Seriously, do your research, man, before you start like slagging me off the cuff like that. Just because I said spiders might be from another world. Spiders
from Mars.
Why? Yes, that's what I said to you. Why do you think David Bowie called his band the Spiders from Mars? Because spiders are otherworldly. Otherworldly.
No, you just said everything is otherworldly.
Well, yeah, original life.
So was it if these spiders or anything else?
Don't
you think it started from a lightning strike on a bit of dust?